The first we're going to do, basically, they're just going to come up here, introduce themselves, and then, invite you when you get to cocktail hour, which I know we're all ready to do. They're going to be there to give you live demonstrations. You can try out the products and so on. So it's going to be pretty fast going through this. And then I know SuperSpeed, if they're here, going to follow that up at the end of this, and they got some super cool information and studies that they do for the data. So we're going to first start out with deWiz. By the way, thank you, deWiz. You're the ones that sponsored the book, so thank you for that. I think it came out really, really well.
Thanks, Randy. Appreciate it.
Hey guys, can you hear me? My name's Zach. I'm with Bretford. We are an AV technology manufacturer. It's a 78-year-old company. The founder actually was an alumni from Illinois Wesleyan, where I played football. Illinois Wesleyan golf team, back-to-back national champions in D3. We have two really nice trackmen, and the attention to detail and the culture is there, and you see that. For football, they're actually using these things on the sideline during the games for instant replay review. What this really is a coach's tool. It's here to help you amplify your ability to communicate, extend the power of the human mind in new places. Everybody has monitors in their gyms, but you've never been able to bring it out right here outside to see the ball fly when you kind of get all the numbers and the trackmen and Onform and all that stuff. So we're excited this is the first time anybody in the golf world's really seen it. We're in beta still. So if you guys want more information on it, there's a little QR code you can scan there. Please feel free to do that, and I'll turn it over to Matt here.
Thank you much. Thanks, Randy. Thanks, everybody. So real quick, I'm only going to take about 93 minutes to walk you through all the... No, I'm just kidding. So just a few minutes. I know there's a lot of things going on, but like Randy mentioned, I'm here for basically three reasons. One is to tell you about deWiz. Two, hopefully to show you a little bit about deWiz. So we're going to be back up at the cocktail party right near all the action is out there. And then the third reason I'll say for here in a minute, but we are a wearable device. You simply put it on your lead wrist is what we tell people to do. And you take a swing, and we're tracking a plethora of information, and we're doing it in real time. It's very simple to use. You can ask Randy. I'm gonna hold Randy to the fire here, but you put it on your wristband. You put the wristband on. You connect it to the app, and you start swinging. Right now, that's as simple as it gets. I mean, that's one of the things that we really hang our hat on is you wear it like a watch. You take some swings, and you're privy to a bunch of data that we've likely never seen before. You likely never seen before, so. We're given instant feedback on your hands and your swing. So, real quick, this is what the avatar looks like within the app itself. You're able to see your backswing plane path and your downswing plane. What we're really excited about is a number like a transition. So I know a lot of us, or a lot of you coach folks who are going over the top, over the top, over the top. Feel is not real. I think we just heard it in the previous session. Said it much more eloquently than that, but feels not real. What we're able to do now is give a tangible number on how far that player is coming over the top or under the top for that matter. So what we're doing is we're tracking that backswing, and about 3 inches on the downswing, we're seeing what that distance of difference is in inches between where they were in the backswing versus the downswing. So now you're able to tangibly have this data set to show and tell a player, hey, you are actually 4 inches over the top, 5 inches over the top, whatever that number is. Because in their mind's eye, and I know I don't need to tell you guys this, but in their mind's eye, they're feeling like they're going under the top, but now we actually have that data to be able to tell you otherwise.
That's hand path, right?
Correct. Hand path.
The cool thing is it tells you through a vibration, and you for real stubborn people, it can go really high where it actually does a little shock. So I did that. I said put it up there like, and it really works fast. So it's speed learning.
It's in real time. Yeah, we're able to gather. Right now we have 11 data points that we're sharing. First is that transition number, like I just talked about. Are you going over the top, under the top? Are you on plane? We have tempo, but we have tempo on steroids, I like to say. A couple of my favorite numbers here are going to be that start to impact time. how long is it taking from that top of the backswing until you make impact has a direct correlation with speed and distance. We're also showing you if you have a pause at the top of your backswing and how long that pause is. We're also showing length of backswing, which is a number that you're probably going to become more and more familiar with as we get out there a little bit more. But we are giving you, again, a tangible number on how long your backswing is. Gone are the days of 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. We're able to tell you on that swing arc how many inches your backswing is. We just had VJ Singh wear a deWiz in tournament 2 weeks ago on the Champions Tour, and he constantly works on his length of backswing, always working towards the large number because he knows once he goes on course in tournament, he shortens up like all of us do. And what we found a couple weeks ago is that he shortens up even more so than previous thought. So even for somebody like him who hits 7,000 range balls a week, feel is not real. So that's been exciting. We also show max hand speed for you speed guys, which I'm a big fan of. We're showing you how fast your hands are moving in the downswing, but also more importantly, where is that maximum speed taking place? Is it happening too far up here? Is it happening too close to the ball? Are you wasting it? We're finding that that optimal spot is somewhere out here between 16 and 24 inches, depending on the club. But
It's reading off your phone.
correct. It is reading. That's a good question. So this is all done through the app. It's connected via Bluetooth. So the wristband connects to your phone or your tablet via Bluetooth, and you get all of this data right in front of you. I usually set my phone or my tablet down next to the bucket of balls on the range, and it's giving you instant swing-by-swing feedback. There's really three pillars that we hang our hat on with helping golfers. First is going to be hitting it longer with, generally speaking, length of backswing, especially with the driver. There's other factors that are included like impact and things of that nature, but the longer your backswing is, generally speaking with the driver, the faster your hands are going to be moving. The faster your hands are moving, the faster the club head's going to be moving. Transition is directly linked to hitting a straighter shot. So dependent on how you want to hit the ball, what your tendencies are, a more neutral, more on-plane swing obviously is going to make a straighter ball flight. Another VJ quick fact is he works on going over the top in his range sessions. When he was in tournament, he found that his swing was more on plane, had less of a transition, less of a gap there, which, again, he wants to work on that over the top because he finds that that ball flight is a little bit more consistent for him with that fade. Closer is something I'll dive into a little bit more deeply here, but I go back to hitting it, your length of backswing as far as the 9 o'clock methodology, 10 o'clock, especially with your wedges. That's how I was taught. That's how a lot of us were taught, but I'm here to tell you, you're guessing with your 9 o'clock. You're guessing with your 10 o'clock. I mean, don't get me wrong, probably really good at guessing what that is. But now we're able to tell you exactly what 9 o'clock is in inches. Inches don't change. A 9 o'clock for you might even change from a Thursday to a Sunday when you're super tired and you've been playing golf all week. So that's something to keep in mind that we've really been having a lot of success with some of the more professional players. We have different settings within the app itself. Super intuitive, super easy to use. I wanted to point this one out here is because you're able to set different markers for different lengths of backswing. So if you know that your 9 o'clock 56 degree wedge is actually a 35-inch swing, you can practice 35 inches, 35 inches. You can have the app and the device do random type of lengths, so you can tell it to have you challenge you to do a 50-inch, to do a 30-inch, to do a 25, do 44, whatever those numbers are. That way you become really consistent, really knowledgeable as far as your length of backswing, and that obviously equates into stock yardages with different clubs. So Randy alluded to it earlier, but I don't really have time to get into this, but this is the learning stimuli, where it's an electric stimuli to where if you set different parameters, let's say you are working on a length of backswing, or one of your students is working on their length of backswing, you can set parameters within the app to say, okay, I want you to work on a 35-inch backswing. You can set the parameter to say if they go shorter than 35 inches, it'll give you an electric impulse in real time as they're swinging. Or you can go to the flip side. If they're swinging too long, then you can do it that way as well too. If they're outside of that window, we can let you know in real time. I'm not a neuroscientist, but there's a lot of science and data behind how that helps you learn a lot faster. But Randy, we shocked him a little bit too much. He's okay. He's fine. So like I said, I'm around the next couple days. I'm actually based in Southern California as well. Where the deWiz is actually based out of Sweden, but I happen to be in Orange County, so it just made sense for us to come up here and show you guys how to do it. So the last reason that I'm here is because of my dad. He doesn't have anything to do with deWiz, but he has everything that to do with me getting involved with the game of golf and how fun it is and how much it means to me. And I know that you guys are a big part of that with you, your families. We probably have a similar story and similar stories with your students and who you are coaching. So I know you don't need to hear it from me, but from somebody from the outside, thank you for what you guys do. It really means a lot to us, and we just want to be a part of the fun as well. So
Thank you, Matt. Please go visit them. It's pretty cool. It's pretty fun. It doesn't hurt that bad. All right, the next we have XXIO. Representatives from XXIO. I got Mike, Trevor, Nick. Come on up.
Good job, guys. Thank you. All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Like Randy said, we are here from XXIO. Nick Theory, Trevor Reimer, Mike Kim. I just wanted to start out by saying thanks for having us. It's been a real thrill to be a part of this today, and looking forward to tomorrow as well. So I just wanted to start out, I know this is tech time and we'll get into a little tech here, but by answering two kind of important questions, and that is, who is XXIO and who do we make clubs for? So simply put, XXIO is an industry leader in lightweight technology. We've been designing golf clubs out of Japan for almost 25 years now. It's built solely with the amateur swing in mind. So we do not manufacture the clubs for the tour player, for the elite level amateur. We're focused entirely on swing speeds of 90 miles an hour and below. So what does that mean? It means that we talk about things like lightweight, we talk about things like high balance point, we talk about things like high launch. All of our technologies are geared towards helping the amateur player get the golf ball in the air. So when you look at our shafts, we've got a couple shafts here. You're looking at a shaft that's geared towards a player who swings it below 75 miles an hour. It's a 36 gram shaft. It's designed with a really high flex point, helps kick that ball up in the air. We also are adding technologies into our clubs now that help square up the club face at impact. So this year we came out with something called Active Wing. Active Wing is literally a notch raised up on the crown of the golf club that actually acts similar to like the wings on a plane, and it controls the aerodynamics and helps you square the club face up at impact. So when we're looking at our design and engineering process, it's really all about helping that moderate swing speed player get the club face into position at impact properly. We put technologies in there that help the player square up the club and ultimately get it into the right position. So really what we're focused on here with XXIO and who we're selling to is men over the age of 55 generally, and women, right? So anyone who swings it below 90 miles an hour is our target market. That's not as small of a segment of the market as you might think, right? So men who swing below 90 miles an hour is 52% of recreational golfers. It's the majority of golfers in the game today would fit into our product, and then 95% of women. So when you look at our business over the last few years as we've grown, almost half of our business comes from female golfers, which we're very proud of, right? It's not a market that's served as well as it needs to be, and we're making clubs specifically for them with them in mind. I'm going to turn it over here to Trevor and Mike. They're going to talk to you a little bit about what it's like to fit out on the range. They're out on the range much more than I am. But thank you guys again. We really appreciate it. Come see us at the happy hour. We're happy to talk about it a little more.
Hello, everybody. Mike Kim here. I service San Diego, Orange County, and East LA. I'm doing a lot of demo days out there, as some of you guys know, familiar faces here. It's one of those things where the best part of my job to me is just looking at the consumer's face expression after they hit a shot. It's something that they've never tried before. It's lighter than anything else that they've tried. But the important thing is more of the balance that the club creates from head to shaft and the grip. Everything is balanced to the right swing weight when you swing the club. So like Nick was saying earlier, it gives you better timing to, as we all know, timing is probably the number one priority in golf to hit better shots. So it helps you time the club. So by looking at the consumer's face and then how high the ball is flying, day in and day out, it's just higher and longer than something that they've ever tried before. So that's something that, and first of all, and also I believe in the product just because our brand designed these clubs just to, like Nick was saying, to service the amateur golfers, and that's a lot of people out there. But big percentage of golfers out there are not the Tiger Woods and DJ, and all those guys. But if you look at all the plays that's going into week in and week out, it's just most amateur golfers are trying to get better and trying to hit it longer and higher shots. So to me, that's just a really fun thing when I'm fitting people. It just shows you that it's something on the face expression when they see them is like, wow, I've never experienced something like this before. So I'm a true believer in that, and I just feel like many golfers should be in our golf clubs just because, again, it's a lot less straining on your body when you play 18 holes after the next day. A lot of us get tired and stiff, but just by having a lighter golf club like that will help you out in your body as well. So you play more rounds of golf and have a lot more fun. And also, I appreciate you guys having us out here today, and really thank you for what you do. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Hello, everyone. My name is Trevor, and I service the desert as well as Riverside. I do need your attention for one moment because I have a corny statement to provide with you that is actually very true about the brand, and that is that we're not selling golf clubs, but we're buying people time. It's so true in my area, based out of the desert, that we've got people that are about to exit the game, and they're looking for an opportunity to continue playing, in your eyes, to also continue taking lessons, to continue paying dues. It's really remarkable. I see it every day. I have people come up to me that I helped a few months ago, and they're not just coming up to say thank you, they're coming up to introduce their friend. And what we see a lot of is it's not necessarily like we have a great advertising campaign, we have great exposure across many platforms, but what really separates us is when Susie is hitting the ball further than Betty gets kind of pissed off. And Betty wants to hit the ball further than Susie because she used to hit the ball further than Susie. And we see this every day, and it's just really remarkable. And Betty wants to hit the ball further. She's going to try it at one of our events. And we want her to go back to the clubhouse and take a demo club, get it on the course, and just fall in love with it. And then Betty introduces Joni to us, and Joni's having the same problem. Joni is getting outdriven by Betty now, right? So it just really is remarkable. You will have an opportunity to hit the men's prime golf club, and I really hope that you enjoy it because it's a really remarkable golf club. Most of you have probably not hit it, but it's a very fluid shaft, and we chose this one specifically because you'll see how high the ball goes, and you just have to put yourselves in the shoes of the people that are, getting to that age where they're not getting the ball up in the air anymore, and you're going to see your ball go 200 feet in the air, but it's going to be awesome, and hopefully you end up closest to the pin. So thank you.
Thank you, folks. So yeah, there's going to be a close to the pin that's going to be put on by Foresight, and you're going to be using their club. So that's going to happen next. So Tim from Foresight, you want to come and say a few words? And
Thanks, Randy. Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for spending some time with us today at the Southern Cal Teaching and Coaching Summit. My name is Tim Briand. I'm the Global Business Development Director for Foresight Sports. It's great to spend some time with you. We have emerged over the last 3 years to become the leader in launch monitor and golf simulation technology. Tomorrow morning, we'll be making a presentation before we get started, so I don't want to take up too much time. But thank you so much, Randy, for putting on such a great event. To the folks here at Virginia Country Club, Jamie and his staff, thank you so much again. And I look forward to seeing you all at the closest pin competition this evening.
what's the prize?
I believe Travis Matthew has some swag.
Oh, nice. So when you get up there, please see them and try the clubs and experience the whole Foresight if you have not yet. So thanks.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Rob Chase from Therabody.
Here you go, dude. Here you go.
This is what I'm waiting for.
All right.
You
Everyone
just-
hear me okay?
Can you demonstrate on me real quick? No.
All right. Let me block the noise. Show of hands who needs a cocktail. Anyone? All right. Well, our devices will do something pretty similar, but I'm going to start off by telling you how the company was formed. It's a real quick story. I'll be up here for about 3 minutes, but I just want to tell you how it started and why it's going to benefit you as golf professionals. So 2009, our founder, Dr. Jason Worsland, he got in a motorcycle accident. He was a doctor of chiropractic. He was trying to rehabilitate himself, was struggling with that, had a shoulder injury, nothing was working. Pain pills, anything he tried. He was trying e-stim therapy, you name it, he tried it. He started reading about vibration therapy and how it helped. And so he went into his garage, got a Makita saw, put a tennis ball on the end of it, and started just drilling into his shoulder. And he got some instant relief, as crazy as that sounds. This thing keeps evolving over and over the next several months into a year. He had a friend on the New England Patriots coaching staff, and he wanted to show how that product worked. He goes there, pitches Belichick, the trainers, everyone. We'll take 40 of those. And I won't say what I was going to say. He went, oh shit, what do I do? Went back, made a bunch of them. That started the company. Our company's a little bit different. You see a million massage guns. I know you guys have all seen them. There's $99 ones, $49 ones. Ours are $600. We do make some smaller ones that are $199. But the reason they're different is because mainly the shape. So you will not see anything out there shaped like this. And the reason it's shaped like this is so you can get different parts of your body without anyone helping you. It's also going to go in 16 millimeters into your muscle. Competitors are usually around 10 to 12 millimeters, which is a big difference. So those are the main differences. Now, how is it going to help you all? We're wrapping up a swing study right now that's going to be certified, and we'll be able to share it with you probably in a month or two. And what it's going to show is if you take 2 minutes with this with your student or anyone that plays golf, you run it up your forearms, on your traps, your lower back, your hamstrings, literally 2 minutes, and you're going to increase your ball speed, range of motion, and club head speed. Now, when you give a lesson, those things all probably make sense. So it's going to help your students have a better overall experience. If you're club fitting, same situation. You're going to have more ball speed, better range of motion. It's going to make the experience better. Couple people that use this, Aaron Rodgers, Kevin Hart, the Dodgers. It's probably a bad topic right now, but the Dodgers use it. We have several professional teams, several individuals that use it as well. That's not going to be our story going forward. Colin Morikawa is another one. We're going to talk about the everyday person. So Mr. and Mrs. Havenkamp that goes out and plays golf, they're a little sore. They put the Theragun on themselves, and it's a game changer. It really does help people play longer. We have a million different products that just hit the market, from cupping to goggles to the pneumatic compression boots. All these things help people recover quicker, warm up faster, and play better golf. So if you haven't tried one of these, come up to the table when you're done. Take one of my business cards. Your rep is Todd Howerton. I don't know if you guys all know Todd, but Todd's your local rep, and we're here to help you guys out, and we really appreciate you guys having us. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Rob. We got David Ford from Clipped, if you want to come on up.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Once again, I'm David from Clipped, all the way over from London, and thank you once again, everyone, for staying around and listening to me. Those of you who have heard it earlier, we're an app that really collects all the activities that your players get up to, whether that's rounds of golf, whether it's lessons, whether it's gym sessions. All of those activities feed into Clipped. You know, we're completely agnostic, and we really want to make sure that all of the great technology out there delivers the value that you guys are investing in that. And so I just want to give you a very short glimpse into what we've got, and hopefully see you all either this evening or tomorrow, where I'll be around all day tomorrow. But where it really comes to as a player is this dashboard, and you'll notice there's some numbers at the top here, and this is really driven by all of the rounds of golf and those sessions of practice that I've done. But we can see across the top where my game lies at, and these numbers may be unfamiliar for those of you who haven't spoken to us before, but it's really the way we interpret skill and the way we evaluate the skill of a golfer. And I'll give you just a couple of examples through rounds of golf, but we've seen the development of strokes gained has been really helpful in terms of understanding performance on the golf course. But as soon as you start applying it to players away from the tour, a lot of the important context is lost around shots. So whether that's playing in a 20-mile-an-hour wind or rain or cold weather like we experienced back over in London, those are important aspects that actually can help us to understand the skill of a shot. So we've developed metrics that build off strokes gained and actually add in weather, difficulty of the golf course, and we mark it down on a scale of 0 to 200, whereby 200 is perfection, 0 is the worst possible scenario, something I'm pretty familiar with now, hitting it out of bounds, and then 100 is the tour average. Now we have partnerships with the tours, so we have ShotLink data, DP World data flowing into the platform, so we can sort of refer to that as benchmarks. But let me just show you a round of golf that we played on Saturday. We were sort of lucky to get down to Goat Hill Park. We had a great time down there, a couple of beers, maybe too many. But you can see here that we've just got this summary of the round of golf for the day. But actually, if I dive into a scorecard view and show you maybe one of the holes, the fourth hole there, we can see each of the shots, which in my case I use Arcos, so my grips are connected. Every time I play a round of golf, it just feeds directly into the platform. Other users are using manual stats systems, but they flow in, and then our algorithms create the shot quality scores. So we can see the first shot in that hole, it scored a 64, way below that tour average. Connection's just gone. It's not great, but there we go. And then we can see, each shot categorized there, all the way down to the third shot, which we see was 142, which was a really good pitch shot, which effectively meant that I was able to par the hole. So, we all know, and even sort of 5-6-year-olds know that 100 is a bigger number than 95, and we've tried to make it as simple as possible to understand these single numbers, but then start to look at actually what does good look like for a player, kind of regardless of your level. Are you getting better? Are you getting worse? And just to sort of highlight the activities, if I show you here my activity feed, we've got rounds of golf in here, we've got driver reshaft, we've got range sessions, and as a coach you will have an account which gives you access to all of your players, so you kind of at the touch of your fingertips you can access all that. You can communicate with players, give them feedback, create drills and tests. But really what the power of the metrics enables us to do is actually get to see trend lines over time. So that's the sort of first point. We can see, how a player is evolving over time. And while we don't always have every answer as to the reason, we want to be able to create conversations with players. In this case, why did my form just completely drop off a cliff in the end of August? Is it injury? Could there be an equipment change? We want you to be able to have really healthy conversations based on objective data. And something that's already proving incredibly powerful is this idea of our what to work on dashboard. Now this works on mobile, on tablet, whichever sort of device you want to use. And particularly on mobile, you'll be sort of greeted with this left-hand column here, which is showing every skill within the game in order of priority. What's going to have the biggest impact for me as a player? So the ring at the top is my DNA really as a player. What's driving scoring for me? We know that every golfer is unique, and your game evolves over time. So this is constantly moving. But if I'm time poor, which I am pretty much with my golf, I can look at this and look at maybe the top 3 areas and go, okay, I can be much more focused on my practice, and these are going to have a really, big impact, on scoring for me. And obviously, from an instructor's point of view, being able to see that and be much more focused on objective information rather than, what often is the case with us as golfers, creating these subjective narratives. So, our goal is really to give you the best information so you can be as efficient with your time as possible and get results as fast as possible with your players. So this is just a little glimpse into what we do, but I'd love to show you more, the dashboards that we show to coaches, and the ways that we can incorporate lessons, TrackMan sessions, all of the the important stuff which really makes up a golfer's life. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Dave. I did dive into it a little bit, and the simplicity is really good. So hopefully you guys come out and take a look at it. Chris McGinley from V1. Thanks, Randy. There you go.
Thank you, Randy. I know it's late in the day, so appreciate you all hanging in there. I think many of you are familiar with V1. We've been around quite a long time, but not all of you know exactly what we do, so I'd like to walk you through that. We look at our business in 3 pillars. So the first pillar is video and ground pressure analysis. Video has been around a long time. It's our core competency. A lot of people will say video is the first coaching technology that was introduced, but it's not as sexy as some of the new technology, but the old dog still hunts. So video is a very effective way to help a player improve. When you pair that with ground force and ground pressure technology and that data, it becomes even more powerful. Video, obviously, you can see what's happening. Ground pressure, ground force, you can now measure. You can't really see what's going on. When you combine those two, it's very powerful in terms of what the cause of the golf swing and results are. So, everyone knows launch monitor technology and launch conditions. A lot of teachers work backwards from that, but what causes those launch conditions? It is what happens to move your body, and what happens to move the club. The best way to find out those causes is through video and ground pressure data. So that's sort of our first pillar. Second pillar is lesson delivery. So a lot of teachers teach in person with V1 technology. We have studio software, we have mobile software. Depending on whether you teach in a facility or you teach out on the go or you do both, we can hook you up with the right solution with our different software solutions. So we do sell hardware to support those software solutions as well, like high def, high frame rate cameras and the pressure mat. They can all be integrated, but teachers are able to use V1 to deliver a lesson in person. They're able to use, and a lot of teachers, while they're doing an in-person lesson, will record a video lesson as actually part of the in-person session and send that on to their student. You can also do a lesson wrap-up, a video lesson wrap-up after your lesson's over, or you can work remotely with your students in between sessions. So I've heard a lot talked about, today about staying connected with your students. V1 provides a great, easy-to-use tool to stay connected, whether it's during the lesson, after the lesson, or in between your in-person sessions. And a lot of folks like Dana Dahlquist have grown and scaled their business by teaching almost exclusively online. So video and ground pressure analysis, lesson delivery. Our third pillar is shot and stat tracking. We have an app called V1 Game, which has got auto shot tracking logic built into it. You can use it with an app or you can use it with your phone. It is a GPS app that charts your way around the golf course and records your shots. And it's got technology that does that automatically. And it works as well as or better than, say, a physical device like Blast that you actually put in the golf club. It collects a lot of great data. And why is that data important? Well, you as instructors want to know, hey, is the swing mechanics, the motor pattern training I'm teaching my students, how does it translate on the golf course? Are they being effective? Are they lowering their score? Are they doing whatever their goals are? Are you teaching them the right thing? You may be working on their driver when you really need to work on their lessons. So that feedback loop of being able to record and track and analyze on course data to help better inform your teaching, we found to be very effective. So that's a simple view of what V1 does. If any of those things are of interest to you, I know a lot of you have used V1 in the past. We've made some updates. If you got a new team involved, we feel like a 25-year-old startup company, so please stop by at the booth that we have up there by the cocktail reception or tomorrow, and let's have a chat. So thank you and appreciate your time.
Thanks, Chris. Gear with Onform.
Hey guys, we'll do this really fast. We're going to try something. Yeah, it's on one. There we go. Cool. All right, so something you can take home, start using straight away. I'm just going to show you a quick feature here. It's called one-tap recording. And instead of typical recording of a swing where you might have a student and you're going to ask them to take a swing and they waggle around on the range and look down the range and do stuff and you end up with a 15-second video, I'm just going to use this one-tap mode, and notice I tapped that as he was swinging. And it saves a perfect 4-second video clip of the swing. No having to clip it or whatever. In other words, instead of hitting start, waiting for them to do all the stuff with their swing, and then hitting stop, you end up with a 15-second clip. You actually hit the record button as they're taking a swing. It'll go back in time in the video feed, a couple seconds. It waits a couple live seconds. You end up with a perfect 4-second video clip centered around the swing. That's called one-tap mode. At impact, in the back swing, whatever. You don't have to, it's just going to take time. So it just goes back in time 2 seconds. So tap it, top the swing, impact. Impact's good because some people kind of like to do the little Justin Rose thing where they mess around. Okay, last little trick because I'm ready for a beverage. I did 2 auto record swings on Nate over here. That's what you're looking at, these 2. And anytime you use auto record, we can automatically identify the start of the swing, the takeaway. So I'm in my library of Nate. I'm gonna hit select, and here he is face on, and here he is down the line. I hit compare. Notice they're automatically synced at impact. I didn't do that. The app does that. So it'll automatically recognize the swing. See the little red dots? I don't know if you can see the little red dots on the timeline there. But any 2 auto-recorded swings, it'll automatically align it. Again, saving you time. We're all about fast workflow, quick, on the range, boom, do it over AirPlay, away you go. Thank you. Oh, question.
Syncs only in impact, or can it be other P6 or anything?
We just have it hardwired to sync in impact, but of course it's throughout the full swing. So if you can see that, yeah, it's the entire swing. Cool. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Visit them at their booth up there. All right, Mark Johnson from the PGA of America, Senior Director, Coaching and Consumer Technology.
Oh, there we go. Yep, thanks. Mark Johnson from your association, the National PGA of America. I want to talk real quick about PGA Coach. Who's heard of PGA Coach before today? I want to make super clear about what is PGA Coach, first of all. When Susie started as our president, she kind of started this open table for golf thing, and that's when we started PGA Coach. The first element really is about education. You heard Dave's talk about the pathway. When golf got back into the Olympics, you're required as an Olympic sport to have a development pathway, and so that's what the American development model is. So if you go to pga.coach, you'll get certified in American development model. We also have Will Robbins, who's here, has become the modern PGA coach there, and that's really about how you are the subject matter expert in golf, and people really want your information, and it's awesome stuff. I'd recommend you all go watch it. The second part is about marketing, really. So PGA.com is a 3-letter domain. It's pretty much the most respected thing in golf when it comes to Google. So when people are looking for golf lessons, they pull up Google and they say, golf lessons near me. And if you have a coach profile,
created through PGA Coach, you will show up in Google search results pretty much above everyone else because it's a 3-letter domain. And why is that important? That's important because we send people doing that to you. We connect them just like OpenTable does, connect you to a restaurant. We connect people looking for golf lessons to you. We've had about 2,200 people do it in the last few years, and we've estimated sent about $11 million from golfers to coaches through the platform. So we had a coach just a couple of weeks ago say, you know, I have a coach profile and I keep having these people that are coming to me that are driving past 20 other coaches. This person was in Oregon. She said they're driving past 20 other coaches to come find me because they don't have a coach profile. So I'd encourage you today to go to pga.coach and get a coach profile. And the other thing you can do there is you can run group events. So Jackie Reigel is here. She's one of my favorites. She runs like whiskey and wedges or short game and Chardonnay. We have templates for Get Golf Ready, so you can quickly run a Get Golf Ready program or play 9 with a PGA coach, which you'll learn a lot about if you watch Will's training. So if you want to run those, we have a same thing with profiles. People all the time, they get into Google and they say things to do this weekend, and they're looking for things to do. And our goal is to rank for that as well, so that anytime somebody's looking for something to do on the weekend, they find your chip and sip or they find your, whatever program you want to run. The next part really is about business tools. We want you to be able to focus on coaching golf and not having to do everything for your business. So I grew up working in the golf shop and basically running the ping calendar. If you're familiar with that, it's basically just your old school paper calendar. People call in, they want to get a lesson. The ping calendar is kind of where it lived, right? Well, the modern world, that's coming to the phone. We created PGA Calendar as part of the PGA Coach app, and that's really just to help you with your scheduling. So you're not sitting there texting people nonstop back and forth. What about 3 o'clock? No, that won't work. 3:30, maybe. You don't have to do that anymore. You use PGA Calendar within your PGA Coach app. Makes it seamless and easy. And also as part of that, if you've run a Junior League, PGA Junior League program, all of those are run through the PGA Coach app. And you can do messaging with your teams. Your teams can do messaging back and forth. You can message with your students or with your leads. And it doesn't live with all your family messaging. It just lives right in your golf world. We have it where you can quickly hook up Stripe payments. If you want to take online payments and you don't do that today, you can use PJ Coach, quickly set up, money goes straight into your account. And the last thing really is just the mobile app world. Golfers today, they live on their phones. Coaches live on the driving range and on their phones. So we have a PGA Coach app for running your business and talking to your students. And we also have a My PGA app. Just like Uber has an app for riders, they also have an app for drivers. We're doing the exact same thing. My PGA is for the riders, in this case the golfers, and PGA Coach is obviously for you. I know y'all need to go to happy hour, so I'm going to turn it over real quick to Anthony Leone with the section to talk about highlighting PGA coaches.
Thanks. Real quick, this is the one thing that the PGA really is taking seriously. Obviously, we're moving into a technologically modern world. This is how people are going to find you. To piggyback on what Mark says, I think what we're trying to do as a section is we get a lot of people who call us, so we get a lot of people who, hey, I'm looking for a coach, I'm looking where to go. We're pushing all these people out to your.com profiles. In addition to that, we send a monthly Coach of the Month email where we highlight 3 or 4 coaches that goes out to our database, 60, 70,000 people. Alan has participated. Heidi has participated. This is something that we really need your help on. We're not only the PGA Coach profile leaders here in Southern California, we're also the lead leaders, which means that our coaches are getting the most money out of this program. They're getting the most amount of revenue through our program. So if this is something that interests you, please stop by our booth, pick up a little piece of paper, scan the QR code, and get in contact with us so we can feature you and hopefully bring more people into your business. Thanks.
Thanks, Anthony and Mark. We got SuperSpeed here coming up to give you some really cool information and data that they come about as far as getting more distance.
There we go. Hey, everybody. I know it's getting late. Thank you a lot for hanging in today. And I think we're the last thing. So after this, you actually will get to go over to the happy hour. We're really excited to be here. We'd like to thank the Southern California section for having us. We're kind of in this tech talk side. We're not actually going to talk about much technology in this section. We're going to talk about speed training, which is the area of the business that I've sort of made into my career now. I'm a PGA professional. I owned a golf academy business in Chicago for a long time. Also very excited to have Dr. Tyler Standiford, who's a PhD biomechanics professor from Utah Valley University. It's a fun story of how we kind of got together. Tyler actually called us a few years ago and basically asked us if we'd be interested in having him do some research or do any types of research on our products at SuperSpeed. Tyler can kind of tell us.
Yeah, I mean, really the litmus of that was I'm the youngest of 4 boys, and I hit the ball shortest of all my brothers. So I really did it so I could get a free set of SuperSpeed clubs. And like fast forward a year and a half, I've done probably like 8 studies in my lab, tons of cool motion capture, force data. I get to skip class now to come to Southern California and hang out in October, which is a great time to leave Utah. I think it's been a win-win. And as a report back to my brothers, I am now the longest driver in my family, so that's probably the best bit of news.
I'm confident there's going to be a point where Tyler fully abandons his university students, but he's still hanging on to it for there. Anyway, I think most of you have used our SuperSpeed products in the past, talking to people up at the booth up there so far. A lot of people have used some of our products. We have a lot of new stuff as well. What we really want to share with you guys today are some of the results that we've actually seen in real university level research studies. We did a lot of internal testing on everything that we did at SuperSpeed at our academies and different things on our players, but it's different when you actually have like a professor going through the actual process of proper randomization and following very specific protocols to go through that process of research. So the first one that we want to share with you guys, which I think is really exciting, is a study that we just completed, or like 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, literally I collected post data 2 weeks ago on this study. And to me, this is probably where the first study should have started with a lot of speed training, but it's incredibly difficult to do. And this is where we actually wanted to see, at the end of the day, what does speed do to on-course data? And so we teamed up with ShotScope. I got a group of 11 golfers. And I had them track all of their on-course data using ShotScope. So this is distance, accuracy, strokes gained, scores, the whole 9 yards on the course. And they went through that over the course of a month, gathering their data every single time they played golf. That was kind of my pre-assessment. Then I brought them in, measured their force production, measured their swing speeds, and then put them through the level 1 protocol at SuperSpeed, which lasted about 6 weeks, where they trained 3 times a week, 45 minutes a day. And in that 6-week time period, they didn't track any of their stats. And then I did a follow-up where they went back to those exact same golf courses, played the same rounds of golf. Luckily in Utah this year, we had absolutely no rain, so weather conditions were pretty consistent throughout the summer. And I wanted to see what actually happened on the course to their distances, scores, accuracy, kind of everything they would do. And today, really, I'm just sharing like the very earliest data that we've started to pull from this study, which isn't everything, but I think there's some cool stuff to share.
Yeah, absolutely. And to preface this, we've always found that players get about a 5% gain in swing speed in every study that we've conducted, that Tyler's conducted, that other third parties have conducted in that course of about 6 to 8 weeks of regular training. So the difference in this study, again, is really that these are actual gains in performance from what they did on the golf course before that period of speed training and then right after that period of speed training. So the first one we saw was pretty normal. We saw distance up by 4.9%, which is exactly consistent with everything else that we've seen. The next piece that's interesting is accuracy. Any ideas of what happened to accuracy when we all of a sudden now are hitting the ball 5% further? So this has been a theoretical piece that I have talked about at probably 80 different PGA teaching and coaching summits over the last 5 years. that as a player becomes more athletic and efficient with the way they're swinging a golf club, not only are they going to become more powerful, hit the ball farther, but they're also going to become more consistent and be able to make a more repeatable motion. And this study was pretty definitive and showed about a 10% increase in accuracy this was off the tee, correct?
This was off the tee. Yep, this is drivers hit off the tee. Yep.
So drivers hit off the tee not only went 5% further, but they went 10%, 10% less dispersion overall, which I think is probably one of the coolest results of a study. When Tyler called us and said, yeah, it went up by about 10%, it was like he was expecting it to. I was kind of expecting it to, but I was really excited.
Yeah, and then you start to think, well, now if guys are hitting the ball further, if they're hitting the ball a little more accurately, I ended up just pulling at least some preliminary score type things to look at when they actually used a driver off the tee. How did that affect their strokes based on where they hit it pre versus where they hit it post, fairways, left rough, right rough, penalties, and actually saw that they ended up being able to increase or decrease their scores by about 2.5 strokes as a result of this as well, which would make a lot of sense because they're hitting the ball further and hitting more fairways. So,
but again, really cool study, actual, amateur golfers out on the course, learning how to hit the ball faster by becoming more efficient. This was just our simple level 1 training protocol that we do at SuperSpeed. We have a lot more training past that a lot of our tour level players have done and a lot of amateur players have done as well. But we're really interested to see, as this keeps going and maybe even follow this for years to come as we now can do that out on the golf course.
Yeah, I'm smart enough to know if I come up with more studies to do, I get to stay a biomechanics consultant and I get to spend less time teaching.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
The next one I want to talk about is one that there's been some talk about, I would say, in the last year and a half or so especially. We were just down at TPI for a few days doing a golf level 3 seminar and talking about a lot of the things that the guys down there have been working on with their tour players. And we do a lot of different types of things that are going to be training both sides of the body. Those of you that have worked with our SuperSpeed Golf training protocols know that since day one, every single one of our protocols has always used dominant side swings and non-dominant swings in every training protocol that we do. And we're extremely strong believers on the side that that's incredibly important for a lot of different reasons, including improving rotational efficiency, improving ground force production, all kinds of different things, especially for players that don't have a 4-day-a-week gym routine and don't have quite as much of an intense program as a lot of guys out on tour. This study actually started as a joke.
Yeah,
believe it or not, this study started as a joke. We were talking about everything was being talked about not doing non-dominant swings. We're like, I think this is crazy. Like, would you ever do this in the gym and not do that? And Tyler's like, all right, I'm going to pull a guy in out of the hall tomorrow, and I'm going to have him go through one of these training protocols and only do non-dominant training. We're never going to make a dominant side swing in the entire training, and I'm going to see what happens. He calls me the next day. He's like, you're not going to believe this. I'm like, what am I not going to believe? He's like, no, you're not going to believe this. Like, he got better results doing that training protocol than he did doing the one where we did dominant side and non-dominant side. So, all right, okay, you're hired for another month. Like, we'll let you keep going.
Let's do another study.
We need to do this
get more
study.
golfers in. And so I ended up grabbing 12 golfers and said, let's train them for 6 weeks. Let's look at pre-post swing speeds. Let's look at pre-post force production. But in this case, I'm going to look at pre-post as right-handed drivers because they were all right-handed golfers, but their training only consisted of the left-handed swings. All right, and this is some data in terms of what we saw. So the percentage gain was about 6%. These were fast swingers of the golf club, so baselines of 109, and they jumped up about 7 miles per hour. And if we can get into some really big details about ground reaction force up back at the booth for sure, if that's something you're passionate about. But the main take-home message of ground reaction force is that golfers really struggle sending force to the lead leg enough and early enough in the golf swing. I mean, that's just so common among amateur golfers across the board. And so we saw increases of about 13% in their vertical force. This anterior-posterior force is what's pointing away from the target that kind of allows them to almost kind of have this stopping point to create that vertical rotation that we've kind of talked about, I think, a lot today, or at least alluded to, and a 12% interest in lateral force. I always say, are these big increases in force numbers? Remember, this is 45 minutes a week for 6 weeks. If I went to my basketball strength and conditioning guy that I work with a lot and told him I could get this in 45 minutes a week, every one of his players would be doing this immediately. So
yeah. So this was a really cool one. Again, no dominant side swings, just training the non-dominant side, seeing a huge gain in their actual real golf swing after this study. So that was great. We've done other studies. We don't have time to talk about all of them today. Just quickly, force production's a big one. Every study Tyler's done, we've always seen big improvements in force production by going through these protocols. And that's not with extra coaching or extra things going in. This is just going through those basic SuperSpeed Golf protocols. The timing, as he said, was also a very important thing. We did a study testing senior players. That's a question we get a lot. Is this going to be something that's going to be good for my senior athletes? What was the average age in this study?
yeah, it was 72. Oldest
Okay.
was 89 years old.
Yeah, so this was definitely, on that senior side. You can see that the percent gain numbers stayed consistent with that about 5% number that we've seen. It was actually a little bit higher for our elder ladies. It was almost about 6% there, so that was a big deal. We did a study on our new counterweight club. I can show you that if you get over to the booth. That's another one that we can add in to really translate and get some more hand and arm speed. Again, saw 4% gain about in club speed, ball speed, distance also went up with that product. The last thing I want to talk about in the studies is one that we are just now completing, and actually a new training product that we're going to have out this fall. We should have product by the end of November is my guess. How many of you test grip strength on your players? Okay, I got a couple people. You test grip strength. Do you find that amateur golfers tend to have an issue here from time to time, like don't have enough grip strength? What do you see that cause for your players? Yeah, you have any correlations you've seen? I have a bunch I've seen. Mm-hmm. Okay, so a couple things there on that. So he said when players grip lighter, they don't know how to create speed with it. Well, a couple questions here. Does anybody know, on average, how much static grip strength PGA Tour players have on average? Okay, Tyler?
Yeah.
Let's talk to the PhD now.
Yeah, it's about 120 pounds.
120 pounds of force they can create statically on a dynamometer. Your long drive professionals, which we actually coached a team of like 5 long drive professionals for about 2 years back in Chicago, their average was almost 150, 160 pounds. So it was even more. Amateur golfers, our data from our academies, and I think we could probably reference this with all the data TPI's collected as well. Amateur golfers average almost half of what a PGA Tour players do on average. It's about 60 pounds. Okay. Good question. So this is how this goes. So you're out on the range with, let's say it's a guy in his mid 50s. He's got about 60 pounds of grip pressure, and you're telling him, okay, I want you to grip the golf club about 50% light so that we can be loose and create a lot of speed. Okay. Now, if you said that to a PGA Tour player that on maximum could create 120 pounds of grip pressure, and you say, I want that to be this nice light about 50%, and you feel that PGA Tour player is going to peak somewhere around 60 pounds of grip pressure during the transition of their golf swing. Well, what happens with his amateur player? That's the maximum he can create. So if he can't create enough to basically stabilize the forces that go through the grip of the club, a lot of bad shit starts to happen. You start to see dumping, you start to see scooping, you start to see long swings with no lag, all kinds of things can start to happen there. My opinion is this is actually the biggest epidemic in the world of golf that very few of us test that causes people to have an issue creating speed in their golf swing. I think it's the most prevalent, especially for women. I think even up to the LPGA Tour level, the numbers here are just not enough. Because honestly, you have to be able to create in the mid-20s grip pressure to make sure that the club doesn't fly out into the range. Okay, so this is kind of wild stuff, crazy stuff. But we got a cool product coming out this fall. It's gonna be one of the first golf-specific grip strength trainers. So just be looking for that. If you guys aren't already signed up for our email or newsletters, go to our website, sign up for that. Our training site is great. It has all kinds of great protocols and things to do with our SuperSpeed products. All of that's free. So you just go to our training site and access and check it all out. You guys always get wholesale pricing on all of the products that we sell at SuperSpeed Golf. Our goal is to help you train your players in a better way and help them get more speed, and we're trying to put all the research we possibly can behind it, so it's an easy sell for you guys to do. Stop by the booth, check it out. We have some product here. We also have some great information on our speed clinic programs. If you haven't run a speed clinic program at your club or facility yet, I can tell you it's about a $600 an hour program for you, and I've never seen that business model fail anywhere that's ever tried it. So come check that out. We'll be here all week. Again, thanks, Tyler, for being here with us and sharing a lot of this data. We really appreciate you in the Southern Cal section. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks.